Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of this week's new One Piece anime episode, and we're at 779, aren't we? And it looks like this is going to be our last one before heading into some filler, which, honestly, not only am I not mad about, I'm almost a little bit excited for, but I'll talk about that at the end and explain why once we get through talking about the episode as a whole. So let's start off at the beginning, of course. And at the beginning we have the recap, which I usually talk about, and it was not bad at all this episode. I thought the way they set it up was nice, and it was pretty short, so yeah, no problem. Also, damn do I love Nami's outfit during this, the current place we are in the story. I don't know, it reminds me of, from Maid Dragon, what's her name? Saikawa's. I even made the joke on Twitter where I was like, when Saikawa grows up to be Nami. So getting into the actual episode, we have Pedro reading about Baltigo, and then of course Luffy's cooking, Chopper's doctoring, Yayo. Sanji is with us no more. Pedro then sends for Luffy to give him the news because he knows that Dragon is his father, which, I mean, I guess is understandable at this point. I think it's after Marineford it's public knowledge. So that's pretty reasonable. So Sabo and Dragon are in the paper. Luffy, this is his first time actually seeing his father, and his reaction, of course, was funny. Also, Carrot in the background the whole time. Carrot is best girl. We need her for New Straw Hat. She is the goddess of this series. The true pirate queen. Then we find out that Blackbeard destroyed Baltigo before the Cipher Pole even got there. So then Luffy thinks back to, okay, why would they be fighting like that? Oh, I do remember Burgess and Sabo fighting back at Dressrosa, so that probably had something to do with it. Again, I like the little moments. I said it in this week's manga review. I like the little moments where we see Luffy putting things together and show that he goofs around and stuff, but he's not really stupid. He's pretty smart when it actually comes down to it. So then Pedro says that the Cipher Pole actually fought Blackbeard a bit, which is interesting. Well, of course, we didn't get to see any of it, but it's interesting that Blackbeard fought them and was like, nah, man, I'm backing off. Pedro reassures him, of course, that his family's safe, because, I mean, if they weren't, then that would definitely be newsworthy. They turn around because of Chopper calling throughout this entire scene, and the ship is on fire. And I like the way the anime did this a lot, where Luffy's just like, oh, I left the stove on. That was such a good line for me. Oh, I left the stove on. Then a random storm comes out of nowhere. Another good, well-delivered line from Luffy is when he's like, lucky. And everybody's like, no, this isn't lucky. So Pedro furls the sails and stuff, and I really like, I like the idea of Pedro as a Straw Hat as well, just because he fits in so well with this whole crew and pirate thing. But Carrot is still my hope for next Straw Hat. After Jinbei, of course, because I already count Jinbei as 10th Straw Hat ever since Fishman Island. And whenever he comes back, not getting into any spoilers if we know when, but whenever he comes back, I already consider him to be the 10th member. He's just not currently with the rest. So then, what is next? We get to see back on Zou next. That would be what was next. And we actually get to see Wanda and Inuarashi again, finding out that Carrot has gone with the Straw Hats, and that Carrot had bribed Barriete to keep quiet and stuff. And just, I love the way the anime's handling all of these character scenes about Carrot, and it seems a lot more like she's being built up to be maybe the next Straw Hat than it seemed like in the manga, because they're putting a lot more attention to the character scene details in the anime, which is interesting. And I only bring it up not because I like the character, but because it's like, really, it wasn't something I was expecting them to do at all. So I find it even more interesting, because I thought they were just going to not make a huge deal about it, but they're actually building it up a bit more than it was in the manga. Inuarashi then surmises that Jack probably had to have a Viver card to get here the first time in the first place, but where on earth did he get a Viver card? It does seem like minks are in multiple places around the world, so maybe a mink could have brought it to him. It seems like there are a lot of them around, so he may have a mink in his crew somewhere. Of course it could be hinting at some sort of traitor, but I don't know. I don't really see anybody being a traitor. We see that Jack is still alive on the seafloor, and that answers a question that people have been having for a long, long time. what happens if a fish man eats a devil fruit? Well, they don't drown, but they still can't swim. The seed drains. That's the thing. The devil fruit doesn't make you drown. It drains your energy when seawater hits you. Like we saw, like Luffy and Brook, when they were in like ankle or knee deep water, started like passing out and stuff because it was just making them really tired and exhausted. So pretty much that's what happens. If you're a fish man, like Jack is apparently a fish man, you just sink to the bottom where it makes you like unable to move, and you're still alive. You can still breathe, but you're just laying there on the bottom of the ocean until hopefully somebody comes along and saves you, or you die of starvation. That would at least seem to be the way it goes. Then we actually go to Wano. Well, we don't go to Wano Kuni, but as viewers, we get to see Wano Kuni with Kaido there. And Kaido hears of Jack's failure to rescue Doflamingo, and he's crying because of it, because he's a weepy drunk, his men say today. And we find out that Kaido's dream is actually to have a strong, powerful crew made up of all Devil Fruit users, and now that dream is pretty much nigh impossible without the help of Doflamingo and his artificial Devil Fruits to create the Gifters. So then he gets pissed off. I love how he puts the posters in front of the people's faces of Luffy and Law, and then hits the people. And we find out that he actually has Kid beaten and imprisoned. So that is what happened to Kid. Then to finish off the episode, we see it is now snowing at the Sunny. Luffy's food is horrible, and in creating it, he used up a week's worth of supplies. So now they are trapped on this journey without any supplies. And we find out from the promos that next week it appears as though we're going into a filler arc. Why do I think this is not bad but actually good is because I think things have been paced decently throughout pretty much all of Zoe. I've had no problems with the pacing here. And the thing is, One Piece has had barely any filler, like, ever. Especially for a long-running anime, it has remarkably low filler content. If you think One Piece has a lot of filler, then you've just you have been watching too many other things and equating One Piece with that, because it really doesn't. Like, if you have been watching the entire series or have watched the entire series, there are barely any, and even then the filler, especially pre-time skip filler, post-time skip filler, I haven't really thought a single arc was good, but pre-time skip, look at the Apis arc before they even got to the Grand Line. I really like that. And then one of my favorite arcs altogether isn't even a canon arc. It's probably even close to one of my top 10 arcs, would be, what is it, the G8 arc right after Skypiea. That was so good. And that's why I'm excited about this, because the way it looks, it just reminds me a lot of the, well, and this kind of, because there have been a bunch of people drawing similarities between the front half and back half before and after time skip of One Piece, and saying, you know, this lines up with this lines up with this, like Dressrosa is almost like Alabasta, Zoe is almost like Skypiea, and if you're drawing those parallels, then this could be like the post-time skip version of G8. So this looks like it could be a really interesting and good filler arc. And it also helps because we know that the next place we're going into is Whole Cake. That's not a surprise at this point. We found that out in the anime. So since we know that's where we're going next, if we get filler here, this filler can help us have a really good pacing for the next arc. Depending on how long the filler is, I doubt it'll even be that long though. It'll probably only be around the length of the one we had after Dressrosa, which honestly I didn't like that much, but it still was not a bad filler arc. I think this is going to be even better, though, because this, rather than only having, what did we just have, Luffy and Bartolomeo playing the main role in the last one, this one we actually seem to have Luffy, Nami, Carrot, Chopper and Brook, that whole, and I guess Pedro and Peckham's perhaps as well. We have that whole side of the crew there that are going to play a role in this filler arc, so I think we're set up for some pretty interesting stuff before we even get to Whole Cake. So yeah, I'm totally excited for what we're going to get. And you know how I've been complaining lately about everybody saying, oh, this is filler, about episodes that aren't even filler? I loved when I did a stupid thing, went down into the comments again this week. There were no comments calling it filler. Of course, none of it was, once again. But one comment, I was like, I really wanted to thank this guy for saying it, because it made my day. This one dude was like, see, you guys said that canon stuff was filler for so long that they're actually giving us filler. Stop this. I thought that was super funny. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for a filler arc. I think it'll be interesting. So that would be about it. To give some thoughts on the episode as a whole, like I said, it was good. We got to see a bunch of different stuff. I thought it was really funny, actually. I did think it was even better than last week. But it wasn't a huge blow your mind away kind of episode. It was nice to see Kaido again, though, because we've pretty much only seen him this one time before now, I believe. So yeah, I did like seeing Kaido again. That was good. And overall, it was good. I liked that we went back to Zou and saw what was going on at Zou, because the Minks to me are very, very interesting. One of the more interesting groups or societies that we've seen thus far. But either way, getting off topic. For a score, 8.75. I'm gonna give it 8.75 banana bribes out of 10. Just because, I don't know, I don't quite want to give it a 9 because it wasn't like amazing, but I thought it was pretty damn good. Either way though, like if you did like the video, comment down there, tell me what you thought of this week's episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more One Piece, both anime and manga, and a bunch of other stuff on the channel. I guess follow on Twitter if you want, and I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. That is it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.